over to Erin, which will do a way better job than me because she has been using this tracker for a whole year. So without further ado, please take the reins, Erin.
Oh, you were doing such a beautiful job. I really appreciate you.
Feel free to start from the beginning.
This is a recording now. It'll be great.
Yeah.
So just real quick, my name is Erin Conrad. I teach middle school science in Santa Rosa, California. It's about 50 miles north of San Francisco. And I have been working with Donna since like the inception of Wavio. And I'm a modern classroom project mentor. And when Donna first approached us with this idea, she was asking for a few people that could beta test with her. And I jumped on it like, sure, why not? I'll try it. And I got to tell you, it has really changed and revolutionized how I run my classroom and how I make sure that kids are on pace with me doing the work that they need to do. So Donna was showing you the teacher perspective, where as a teacher, I can look at it and I can see what students have mastered an assignment, what students need to go back and revise something, which ones are the experts and which ones haven't started a thing. I find it's really powerful to use with students so that they're checking it off so that they can see what they need to do and where they're at, because we want our students to be self-directed learners that can establish what they need to do next. So when I set up my class, I'm going to be looking for assignments that are posted out through, my unit or my lesson, and then identify what those things are. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how I set up my tracker. And I was actually just talking to my colleague and she was learning how to do it too. So we just finished setting it up together. So you're looking at, and I'm going to hide this little 3 bars over here, shortens the menu so that we can see it more clearly. We're looking at my 8th grade science class. And I divide up my science class into 4 units. 3 of them are my content, and 1 of them is my unit 0, which is my procedures and getting students used to the idea of modern classrooms. So we've set up unit 0, which is, I call it Welcome to Science. And the first lesson is course expectations. So in my course expectations, I have they needed to do a name tent. They need to do an origami challenge. They need to do a reflection. Personally, I choose to use icons within the name to help students identify what kind of assignment is this and what they should be doing with it. So for me, the little notebook is something that they're like an activity where they're learning something, where they're gaining new knowledge. The little bullseye is a practice assignment where they need to implement what they've learned. The magnifying glass is something that's and it's an aspire to do, it's an exploratory. I have a little mirror that's a reflection, and then I have a trophy for a mastery check. But that's all just icons, they're just emojis that I've pasted into the title of the assignment. I've also labeled these with what type of activity they are. So is it a video? Are they notes? Is it an assignment? So this one's an assignment. I've labeled them must do, should do, or aspire to do. These are must do or should do items. And I've given some information here. So if I click on the link, I've put this information. Now, some teachers will ask, does Wavio take the place of my Google Classroom or my Schoology class or my Canva class? And I will say no, just because currently on Wavio, there's no Dropbox for assignments. If I want students to turn in something digitally, I still need them to go through my Classroom or my Schoology or my Canva, but I tend to cross-post things. So when I'm building my class, I use Schoology. I take whatever description I had in my Schoology assignment and I paste it into Wavio. I have two windows open and I'm just copying and pasting back and forth so that the information's in both places. I want my students to be able to get to the information, to the links in whatever way as possible. I want to remove as many barriers as I can. So I'm going to put these details and the links, if they're there, in as many places as I can so the kids can get to it however they need to get to it, whatever makes sense for them. The other thing that I would show on here is whether or not I'm tracking this. There are some things that students are going to do I don't need to look at. I don't need to make an evaluation of whether or not they've mastered that because it's practice. It's something that I don't need to see. So I'm going to use these radio buttons to toggle on or off. Yes, I want to track that, or no, I don't. And where I see that is when I actually look at an individual class. So within my course, I can have several classes. A question that comes up is, do I have to make this for all 6 periods of my Science 8 class? The answer is no. I have a course that holds all of my content, and then within that, I have classes for each of those. So if I open up the Wavio menu on the left and I scroll down, I have a demo class, which I use for all of you. And then I have my actual live 1st and 6th period class. Now, I haven't seen my 1st and 6th period class yet. Yesterday was my very first day of school for this year. So I only have a demo class that is actually functional. But if I want to add more periods, when I open this up, I click add a class and I can type period 8 and add that class. And it will copy all of this to each of those classes. Next year, I just have to add new classes and remove the old classes, and all of this is still there. I don't have to keep re-entering it every single year. One of the cool things about the student view of Wavio is that it can keep track of if a student is on pace or behind pace or even ahead of pace, and I can do that with a schedule. So if I click on the schedule button, it shows me all of my classes. There's my demo class, my 1st, my 6th, and the 8th that I just created. And there's a little calendar button. There's an update all, where like I get to see all of my classes tomorrow. So I want them all to create the name tent tomorrow. But after that, I need to change it because I only see my 1st period on Monday and I only see my 6th period on Tuesday. So I can add due dates that are specific to each class by the due date, and that'll show up for the students, and it'll let them know, hey, this is where you should be today, or you're behind, or you're ahead. It also tells me when I'm looking at my class view. Let's see what else. I can show and hide items. So I actually have, because I used this last year, I have all of my units built out. I don't want my classes to see all of that yet. I'm not ready for them to see that. So all I'm going to do is click the eyeballs and it will make it disappear so that they don't get overwhelmed by seeing the entire school year's worth of stuff. And I haven't updated it yet for this year. Maybe I need to change something. So I'm going to hide it until I'm ready for them to see it. All right. Now, once I've gotten my course set up, so I've got my lessons in here, I've gotten my activities in here, I want to start using it with students. So I'm going to show you my demo class because it has kids in it already. And I'll see a couple different views. And this is where I came in with Donna was explaining. So she showed you the class tracker where I can see everybody at once with who's mastered it, who's shown that they've been an expert for it, who's still working on things. Aiden with the gray triangle here, Aiden has shown me that he's done it, but I haven't gone around to checking it. So you know what, Aiden, clearly you've mastered that. Maybe you're an expert in this thing. Maybe you need to revise something. I can change that all here in my class tracker. This is on my side, like a private view for me of who's done what. I want in my class to be able to show students as a big group where you're at and what you should be working on. So on my TV screen in my classroom, I'm going to display the lesson tracker. And the lesson tracker will show me by lesson who's working on which things. So I'll say, okay, hey, Eli, we need to catch up on lesson 4 because that's something that you should have already done, but it hasn't been done yet. Let's you and I meet together so we can get this done. Aiden, make sure you finish number 8. And then everybody else, all of you people are working together on assignment number 12. If you want to work together with a partner, choose from this list. These are all people that are ready to go for you. I can change how I see this a little bit depending on what information I want to see. Sometimes this code is enough, but other times we need to actually show the name of the activity. And so that expands it. Now that makes it so that maybe you have to scroll left and right if you have kids spread out over lots of things. But this way I can say, Eli, make sure you do the class syllabus. Aiden, go back and let's redo the mastery check. Everybody else, you should be working on the group agreements. As a student, so this has all been the teacher side. As a student, it looks a lot different. And that's because we want it to be more streamlined for kids. So if I go into my roster and I click on the little binoculars, I can view the course as a student. And here's what a student sees when they log in. I'm trying to move.
Erin, can I jump in for a quick
please.
second? Can you just talk for a minute about how to invite students?
Oh, sure.
Yes, thank you.
So let me go back to my roster. So the easiest way, the preferred way of adding students is to simply give them this class code. So they're going to navigate to the same website you use, which is pulse.mywavio.com. And then when they log in, they'll probably log in with Google or Clever. And then they'll be prompted right here in this little plus button to join a class. There's even, when they first log in, there's a handy little arrow that points up to join class. And when they click join class, they'll enter that class code and they will be automatically added to your class. Now, sometimes kids go by different names. They have shortened names, whatever, like Felix, like to be called Eli. If that's the case, I can click on the little pencil and I can add an alias, which is just Felix's name shortened to Eli. That's what Eli preferred to use. And that's what'll show up because sometimes they like to be called whatever name. This is visible to the students that are looking to them as members of our class. So if I need to change a student's name, I can. All right. So let's go see what it looks like for a student. So here I am. This is Aiden. When Aiden logs in, he sees that he's in unit 0. If there were other units that he needed to go to, he could choose them, but this automatically updates with what he has completed. This shows me the lesson that he's working on. So that's lesson 1. And it shows all of the items. Now, you remember we added a due date. It appears over here. Now, I didn't add due dates to all of these things. That's why they're not there. But that's what I'm going to do later on today after I'm done here.
Erin, sorry again. There is a question in the chat because it sounds like people are trying out the tracker as yours, which is really lovely. So people are asking, why can't I see the lesson tracker or the class tracker or the other tabs that you're showing here? And so I wanted to tell you guys, in order to see them, you need to create the units, you need to create activities, and then you need to add the students. And before that, you cannot really see those tabs.
Yeah.
So sorry for backtracking you.
No. So just to make sure that everything's clear, when you're at Wavio, like when you first log in, there's a whole lot of nothing here. But if I click the plus button, I can create a course. So I have a new class that I'm starting this year that's called Marine Science. So I'm going to create the course called Marine Science, and this is an 8th grade class. So I'm going to call it Marine Science 8. And I'm going to click add. And then, where'd it go? There it is. I closed the little tab. So these little 3 lines over here, open and close things. So Marine Science, well, look at there. I need to add content. So I'm going to add my unit. So my first unit, let's say, is properties of water. And maybe I have another unit coming up that is the deep ocean. That sounds like fun. I want to point out that by default, it'll come up as 0 as the first unit because we want to respect the modern classroom concept of a unit 0. But if that's not what you want to do, you can come up to settings and go to labels, and you can change the starting offset. You can even change it if you don't want numbers. You can change it to Roman numerals. You can change it to letters, whatever makes you happy. So if I change this to 1, when I go back to my course, oops, hang on, please hold. Labels, 1. Oh, there's a save button. I see it's hidden behind my, other crap. Update. If I hit the update button, now it's updated. Now I have unit 1 is properties of water, unit 2 is deep ocean. These are my units. Units house lessons, and then lessons house activities. So within properties of water, now I want to add a lesson. And maybe the first lesson has to do with polarity of water. Okay, so every activity that we're going to do has something to do with the polarity of water. Now I need to add an activity underneath polarity, and notice how it's stepping it in one by one. It's adding all of the code. So the first polarity of water maybe is the Edpuzzle video about polarity of water. And if I keep going, maybe I'll add the, oopsies, I have to hit return first. Is the video or the guided notes, right? And then maybe we're going to do a lab. That'll be fun. And I can keep adding activities, and I'll end with a mastery check. Now, let's say that maybe I want them to do the lab first. I can click and drag and move it to the top, and it'll automatically renumber it so that it's in the right order. And this is where I can change. I want to make this an assignment. This is a video. These are notes. This is my mastery check. The lab is a must do. The video is a must do. Maybe the guide notes are a should do. I'm only really going to track that they've finished the mastery check. If I wanted to add descriptions or notes, that's where I would put that there. Okay. Donna, I can't see the chat while I'm sharing. So if there's anything that's coming up.
I'm trying to answer some of them, but some of them, so somebody asked, can kids skip around? And so the answer is yes and no, but I'll let you answer if you like.
Yeah. So if I go back, and I'm going to go back to my demo class here with my 8th graders. So this is, I'm logged in as Aiden here. I can see all of the activities that are available to me in this lesson. And there's nothing that prevents a student from clicking on assignment number 12 and checking that off. There are some, like if you link it to like a Canva class or a Schoology class where you can lock activities and they have to click on this one before they can do that one, you can lock it that way. But otherwise, they have the power to click on any of these. In my experience, they typically don't. They go through the order of things. And if you do find that that's happening, that's worth a conversation with the student. That's just like, hey, just to be really clear about how I'm structuring this, I want you to do these things first, because these items, you know, numbers 10, 11, and 12 will help you do 13. If you skip to number 13, you might be lost, and I don't want you to be lost. But really, honestly, most of the time, I don't experience that with students where they jump around or they skip to the end, because that's, you know, it's such a natural flow to go to the next thing, to the next thing. It's a very human thing to just go to the next thing in the list. All right.
We do have the Karen who asked that question, raised her hand. So Karen, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
I was just wondering, when you said like you put in that they have to, like, you're going to show it on the, like, okay, so the lesson tracker compared to the student tracker. If you say that you're tracking something, does that, but if you say you don't track something, does everything still show on the lesson tracker?
No. The
Okay.
only things that show on the lesson tracker and the class tracker are the ones that I've clicked the radio button to make it blue. So like in what I'm looking at right now, and I'll make this bigger so we can all see it, it goes from lesson 4,
Okay.
lesson 6 to lesson 8. So number 7, whatever assignment number 7 was, that's not an assignment I'm tracking.
So do kids, that's where I'm wondering if kids get confused. Like, so they see more on their personal tracker than they do on the class tracker. How do you address that? Like,
a lot of times that's more of, that's going to be, to me, that's the should do and the aspire to do activities.
okay.
And like, if a kid gets to like a mastery check, and like Aiden here, if Aiden got to the mastery check and did not do well on the mastery check, you know, missed something, I'm going to have Aiden show me what he did in the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see that he didn't do assignment number 5, even though I'm not tracking it, I'm going to say, hey, Aiden, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and do assignment number 5, because that will help you with the mastery check. And then come back when you're done with assignment number 5. We'll review it together, and then I will let you reassess on the mastery check.
Okay,
So those are kind of like the ticket back to the reassessment,
right.
To the other things.
And then do you have kids that often skip stuff that's not on there?
Again, not typically.
Okay.
Most of the time I have to tell kids, dude, you're falling behind. I need you to move along. Skip this assignment.
Okay. Okay.
But the vast majority of the time, kids will like do what they're supposed to, like the next thing on the list.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And that's, by the way, that's where marking things optional is helpful. You know, let's say that, you know, here's Aiden again. Maybe I don't need him to do this particular ed puzzle. Maybe he's already shown that he's mastered it. Maybe he's falling behind and I don't want him to be overwhelmed by having to do all of these things. I can mark it optional, and it marks it off for him.
Just for him. Okay, great.
Yeah. And that, you know, that's just an indication that like, dude, you can skip on. It's okay. We're fine here.
Thanks.
Erin, there are 2 questions. One from Dawn, who's asking, the numbering system keeps automatically moving to the next digit. Can you show a little bit about how to set it up? And Dawn, feel free to unmute yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back to like my master course. So like Science 8. And that's where I see all of my folders with my units and my lessons and my activities. And right now I have it set up where it's using numbers. So welcome to science is unit 0.
Yeah, how do we do the numbering system? Because it keeps defaulting to a specific order.
Sure.
And it keeps going like unit 0, but then I'm getting 1.1 instead of 0.1.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
Like where it says course expectations.
Correct.
So that's in our settings and under labels. And there are settings for units, for lessons, activities. So I can change the starting offset, like what's the number. And if those are like, if they're not working together, I can see where it would be like that. So if I changed my lesson label so that the starting offset is 0, then it would be unit 0, lesson 0, activity 1.
Okay.
So
So going with that, so do you have to do that for every unit? Or is it going to go, it'll go consecutive. Once you put in unit 0, it'll go unit 0, unit 1, 2, 3, 4.
correct.
Okay. And then within there, you showed how the students will see, for example, assignment 1.4, 1.6. Do we have to enter a 5 in there, or is it just in the post, what they post and not post?
So the reason why 5 didn't show up in when we were looking at the tracker is because I didn't click the radio button over here for toggling tracking. So the lesson tracker and the class tracker will only show what I've marked blue over here, because I'm not going to check all 17 items that they're going to do over the next 2 weeks. That would drive me crazy. I only want to check a couple of, mastery check items, things that I really want to make sure that they do.
So to keep with the numbering system, though, you have to enter every assignment. You just radio check what you want them to see.
Right.
Okay.
We do have Melanie, I think, raised her
Thank
hand.
you. Yes, hi, thank you. So I, again, very new. So I went ahead before this and I had set up everything, and I didn't realize like that function of mastery and should do, Is there a way to edit what I've already set up? Because I tried to set up my use. Okay, could you just show me how to edit it? Because I didn't toggle or do any of that part. I just put in units and stuff. Yeah, thank you.
You can change any of this anytime. So like, let's say that I'm going to make this ed puzzle. You know what? I'm going to make that a should do. I don't need it to be a must do. All I have to do is click on the button and it changes it. Or let's say, you know what? I really don't want to track it. I'm just going to toggle it off and it will all disappear. So
how did you get the should do, must do to show up?
Yes, that's I can't see that on my end. Is that because we're in the teacher view here?
I can't see them either.
It's probably because you're not on an activity, you're on a lesson. That would be my guess. Because
Is there a way to switch it from a lesson to an activity as easily, or do I have to go back?
No. So the like individual assignments that students are doing, like, page 22, that's an activity. We collect activities together into lessons. So chapter 4, and then we collect the lessons together as units. So chapters 4 through 6. So in my class, I have 4 units: Welcome to Science, Colossal Collisions, Traveling Through Space, and Adapt or Die. Within each unit, there are these like 3 or 4 lessons. And then within a lesson are all of the activities. So if you went ahead and created like page 27 as a lesson, you'll need to change that.
Thank you. That's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So just to repeat, you said unit, then your lessons, and then in your, like, whatever that lesson overarching objective is, then underneath that are all your activities to meet that learning objective, which is your lesson.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
I'm gonna read a few questions from the chat. So we have Brittany's asking, is there a way to copy assignments from one course and add them to another? So yes, absolutely. You can do this through the course settings, where you can export a CSV. That will copy everything in that course and put it in a table format. When
then you can create a new course and import that CSV over here. Exactly. And you can also just give it to your colleague and they will put it in their Wavio tracker.
That's exactly what I did this afternoon. Is I have my colleague was starting up her Wavio and she's like, okay, how do I do this? Like, hold on, download here, upload this. And it populated exactly what I already had, because it'll keep the name, it'll keep if it's a must do or should do, it'll keep if it's tracked, it'll keep all of the descriptions, it'll keep all of the links. Like, I just made her class for her.
This is so nice to hear that, Erin. We have Catherine raise her hand. Right? We can't hear you, Catherine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Okay. I just wanted to give Melanie a suggestion, and you kind of moved into it anyway, but with the export CSV, that might be a faster way to change all of those lessons into activities, because you can just rename it in that export. So I will leave it up to you to show her, but I think that's a faster fix perhaps than individually changing.
That's a great idea. Let me switch my, this is going to be a whole thing. Hold on. I was going to switch my, my sharing. Please hold. Because I can share my, so what you're looking at now, if I can find it, is the export of the CSV file. So there's a header that says unit, lesson, activity, type, requirement, track, description. And so what she's talking about is you can take like the lesson names and move them to activities, like copy and paste. If those activities exist, that might be a way for you to get around that. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay, I guess I'm still confused. Going back to the must do, should do aspiring icons. Because if you go back to your page, you have a unit and then you have a lesson name, and then you put activities in the lessons. But for me, my lessons and activities are all one and the same.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, we have to, when Donna and her team were building this, like they had to come up with that hierarchy of how to do it. So you might have to kind of shoehorn it a little bit where, you know, what the terminology you use might be different than unit, lesson, activity. But it, like, the activities are the ones we're tracking, and activities have to be bundled in units. Now, if you only, in lessons, sorry, if you only want to have one lesson per unit, that's fine. But the hierarchy does have to exist.
Okay.
Thank you. We have Hillary Stover raise her hand. So Hillary, please unmute yourself and ask.
I was wondering about if we pre-roster our students, how can they get access to their specific tracker? Like if I'm moving from teaching in person to a virtual environment for this school year, and I almost feel like it'd be easier to pre-roster my students and then share something with them. I don't know what's going to be the best way, but I'm wondering if I do pre-roster them, how do I share their specific trackers with them?
At this point, there is no way to do that, because there's no way to like create a password for them or link their Google account. So the easiest way really is to
use the code,
is to create the course and go to the roster and use the code. But it's really, you know, like they only have to have that information.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I was like using Google Classroom or one of those, here's the link. Okay, now copy and like if I'm doing it live through like a Google Meet or a Zoom or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, put the code in the chat, copy paste. And it does not take a ton of knowledge in order to be able to join the code.
Okay, yeah, it's fourth graders, so
Yeah. I have a newly minted 6th grader, and I'm pretty confident that when she was in 4th grade, she could have done that.
yeah, okay.
Hillary, it's really just one more step on top of what they used to do before. And we made the change because we noticed that many times you import it, but then kids end up signing with different credentials, and it creates duplicates, and then you so
Yeah,
the codes kind of, we believe it makes it easier, but if you guys end up finding out it's not, please let me know. I'm here to make your life easier. So yeah. And Karen Brown raised her hand. So Karen, please go ahead.
Hey, I just seem to remember when I was setting up my assignments, there was a way to like open the assignment and see all of my students and whether or not they had done the assignment. It was something other than the lesson or the class tracker, I thought. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I was looking at what their thing was.
There's the grading tab.
That's what it was. Yep.
So grading is another perspective where instead of seeing it by lesson, I'm seeing it by student. So like Lucas is on this assignment. If I scroll down, Felix is on, or Eli is on that assignment. Aiden's on that assignment. I personally rarely use this tab just because the class tracker is so much easier just for my brain to see. I like pretty colors. I like grids.
And I think when I had initially done it, nobody had done anything yet. So everybody was still on the same singular.
Yeah, and that's easy. When it's the very start of it, it's easy to see, be like, oh yeah, everybody's there, because all I have to do is click on it. There's a little checkbox over here.
Right.
There's a little checkbox over here. There's a little needs revision. That's great, except that then they start getting all over the place. And it's a little harder to keep track of. The other thing is that sometimes I do have students that like Eli here, let's say, needs revision on this thing, but he mastered the next thing because I wanted my kids to keep marching forward and I'll review as necessary. When I'm on the grading tab, it freezes my ability at the revision stage. I can't change a future assignment until I've resolved this one. So from the way that I use it, the class tracker is a much more useful view of it. But I know lots of people that prefer to look at the grading tab because they like lists.
Yeah. And I think as long as you remember what the letters are, you can just kind of fly down the column anyway.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And whenever you click and hover, it's basically the first letter of each thing, with the exception of, I think it's the revision is an R.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to jump in and show you guys that there is a little question mark at the top right. No, yeah, if you could share your screen again. No, it's fine.
Let me get it back here. Hold on. I lost my place. I have too many windows open. All right, I'm back.
Thank you. So you see where Erin has her profile picture, and next to it there is a little question mark at the top right. Yeah, so next to it there are help videos, there's keyboard shortcuts. So the keyboard shortcuts shows you everything you can do on this page with a keyboard shortcut. Makes it very, very easy to use. And different pages have different shortcuts. And of course, if you do something and you want to undo this, you can also use the undo shortcut, which is like Control-Z. So just so you know, this is available for you. So feel free to use this. And it's available in all the pages, even when you just create your course. And there is, Erin, there is one more thing I kind of want to show in the course creation. Do you mind going over there? Just click on any course. And let's go to one of the links. Yeah, so here you see that Erin put the label and then the course link.
I really advise you to check that the course link is actually working before you enter it. And you can do this by clicking on that blue box next to the link itself. You see this? I can click on this and go directly to the link. And this is actually helpful even when you're checking, because let's say, for example, I put a link here to my Google form. I can just go ahead from here and go to my Google form and see everybody's responses and the results, and just use this side by side with Wavio and click in the data. Just an example, or if you have some Edpuzzle activity that you're reviewing, that makes it a lot easier to access it. Yeah, and I think we were in the middle of, I don't know if we have more stuff to show on the student side where I abruptly.
One thing I do want to point
Yeah.
out on these links, the label for the link is optional. You don't have to put it in. But if you don't put a label in, what shows up for the kids is the super long, ugly URL. And they don't always understand that they're supposed to click on that. So I always put in a link a label on the link so that the kids know that that's a thing that they're supposed to click on. If we want to see this live and in person, I do have people. Here's my sample student. Oops, I don't have classes yet for them. Please hold. So like I'm back on a student view. The blue link tells me that there's a hyperlink there, and see how it's labeled syllabus mastery check? That's a label that I put on for the link. If I didn't put a label in, it would be Schoology.com, blah, 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 all the ugly things. So I changed this so that it has a label just to make it a little bit more simplified. Otherwise, kids see that big long URL. Okay, what else?
We have Christine raise her hand, and someone asked a question. I answered it in the chat, but I want to mention it. Karen asked, where do you share your student tracker? Can you post a lesson tracker on your own LMS, or does it? And so I want to say, kids access the tracker on post.mywavio.com. Same link that you use, they go there, they sign up, they use either their Google SSO account or their Clever credentials to log in. And then they have this tracker. It's available for them anytime, anywhere. And as per your tracker, you can project it on the board. You can add the post.mywavio.link to your LMS, but it's not something that you can embed and somebody could see. It's just a link to access it. Yeah.
So the only time that I'll use the lesson tracker is in class when students are with me in the room, and it's on my projector, my TV screen at the front of the room. That's the only time that it's projected there. Otherwise, kids log in and they have this tab open on their Chromebook along with whatever work they're doing.
So
All right.
Tracy has a question about merging classes. Tracy, you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Let me give you my situation. So 2 teachers teaching the same content. We want to merge our class, but we each need to keep our own roster. So we've got, I've put us in, and when I go to merge class, it gives me the prompt, something to the effect of which one is primary, which one is secondary. And then once I decide the primary, my secondary is deleted. What I need to do is I need to make sure that we both have access to our rosters, but we're on the same tracker so that we can both see each other's kids. But ultimately, she has her grade book and I have my grade book. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Donna answer this one because I haven't actually had a co-teacher use this with me yet, so I don't have experience with this one.
Yeah. Tracy, let's meet offline and do this. Essentially, yes, you could merge them and the data should not be lost. but I'd much rather that we do this offline together to make sure everything is.
Yeah, I totally understand. That's why I waited till the end, because I was like, I don't know that this is.
Yeah, I'm going to put all my contact information, including time to meet with me. So you could use that to schedule time. And we have a few more questions in the chat here. Destiny is asking, when students are completing assignments, is the automatically sync grade to the LMS gradebook, or are we manual? Yeah, sorry, unfortunately you are manually putting the grade in. We don't have that option at the moment. It might come up in later versions. And Tammy's asking similar question. I have a co-teacher. Is there a way to add her to my classes so she can also track them? Yes, so adding a co-teacher is actually pretty easy. If you don't want to add anything from your co-teacher, just add your co-teacher to this account. Erin, would you mind showing everyone how to do this?
You'll have to remind me just a little bit.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So go to your profile picture and then go to settings. And this will open. Can you scroll to the left a little bit? Yes. And then you go to account. Right. And over here, you see Erin already has a.
Oh, look at that. I did it.
So there is the add login field. And over there, you add your co-teacher email. And you just click add. That's going to send an invitation to that co-teacher to join your account. And once you have that, and then they just join, basically. That's it.
Editing rights?
It does give them complete editing rights. This is a full co-teacher. They are not just viewing this. So it has to be somebody you like 100% trust. They're not going to do things, to your account that you feel uncomfortable with. So yes. But I'm sure this is the case for everybody. All right, we do have Destiny raise her hand. So Destiny, please unmute and go ahead and ask. Okay, she lowered her hand. And we do have Erin Rose. So Erin, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Hi. I have a question about the toggle tracking. So if that is off, is it still on their to-do list? It's just not in the tracker.
Correct.
Okay, that was my question. It's like, I don't care if they watch the video or not. That's on them.
Yep.
So, but I care if they do the practice and the mastery check. So the video would still be in their to-do list. It's just not showing up on my tracker.
Yeah. There's a really subtle signal to students, if it's important for them to know, that the activity is tracked. So if I look at the S or the M or the A, if it's got a circle around it, then that means that it's something that the teacher is tracking. And when they check off the assignment, if it's an assignment that is being tracked, like I'll check this off for Aiden, it'll either leave it's like a little circle with 3 dots. Let's see here. This is one. So if I check that off, that was exciting. So now it has a circle with 3 dots. That tells Aiden, you've checked it off. Nice job. Your teacher will review it. And then they can come back later to see, oh, I got, I need to review it. I need to revise it. I mastered it, whatever it might be.
So is there a way, like, I guess, so I use formative for my practice. So I'm looking at that to put like a grade in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily want to have to check something else in here. Does that make sense of what I'm saying? So
yeah, so
they
if
can
you
just
don't mark it, like if I go to the class tracker, if I don't mark off that Aiden finished that, it just leaves it as a little chat bubble or a little gray circle with dots.
Okay. Which I can just explain to the kids, like, however the best way it is for me to use this.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to look down my tracker and say,
Yeah, go.
okay, these people have finished their practice.
Yeah.
But I also look at that informative too. So I don't know. I guess my question, like, I guess it's unique to me. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like, you know, like if I'm entering grades for my Schoology account, I just have two windows side by side.
Mhm.
Or if I'm lucky enough to be in front of a big monitor, I have one on one monitor, one on the other screen.
Right.
But, you know, I just have them side by side and go enter, 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 enter. You know, it is double entry in a way.
Yeah.
I've found that if I can limit the things I grade, then it's not that big of a deal.
Right. So like, I really want to just use this as a checklist for the kids.
Yeah.
And not necessarily where like I'm communicating with the kids for things, because like I have other ways to communicate revisions and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, then you can just have them check it off, and you know, what you'll see is just a bunch of gray triangles across the thing, and that if that's enough for you, then that's great.
Got it. Okay. Will they see that like on their tracker? Like if I post the tracker for them to see like who they could work with, what's it going to look like on their end?
It will move them to whatever they haven't checked off.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I do want to share also something very important for the kids, and then we'll answer Dawn's question. The kids, you see this little placement icon. That placement icon will keep bringing kids to the activity, to the last must-do activity that they haven't done. So if they haven't checked a must-do activity because they skipped it for some reason, oh no, where to reconnect? Oh, jeez.
That's okay. We can still hear you.
Oh, you hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because it's, anyways. So even if you don't, if your kid, so if your student did not check a must activity, it will keep bringing back to previous activities, even if they master that lesson mastery check.
Right. So if I'm Aiden and I check off 3.5.5, if I click that off, my little map marker is still on 3.4 because I still didn't do 0.4, even though I've checked off 0.5. Oh, now I think we really lost Dana. Okay, what else we got? Let me scroll through the list. If anybody had a question that didn't get answered,
I had my hand up.
Great.
Roster. You said the easiest way is for them to go in through the Wavio at pulse.mywavio.com, join the class code. If I just want to see a student's view, because right now I can't view anything, can I just enter a student manually so I can see?
Just make a dummy, a beta testing student. They'll still show up in your roster, so you'll want to delete them when you're done with them. But yeah, the purpose of creating a student account is really just for testing things out. It's not meant to be a live actual student user. It's just for your, does this actually work? Purposes.
Okay. So once I did my test student, and now I am able to view my test tracker, my class tracker. Is there, and then you said, grading tells us what they have and haven't done. And I guess I'll have to figure this out. Okay.
All right.
And sorry, we have Catherine also raised her hand.
Great.
There we go. Okay. And this is a fairly specific question. Bear with me. I use Google Classroom and Edpuzzle. In the past, I would assign through Edpuzzle to post on Google Classroom. And then students' grades would be automatically embedded from Edpuzzle into Google Classroom, and then I export to my gradebook. I would love to take the Wavio link straight to Edpuzzle and bypass Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do that and still, I guess, because I've tried to do it without assigning it to them, and they can't get feedback on the multiple choice questions. So they can answer the question, but they can't submit it because it's not assigned to them.
Right.
Can I assign it to them but not go through Google Classroom? Can they still go into Edpuzzle and see an assigned video?
I mean, in Edpuzzle, you create classes,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want them to go straight to the Edpuzzle?
Can they go straight to the Edpuzzle and submit the answers for me to go into Edpuzzle and look at the grade book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would just, instead of providing the link, here that goes to Google Classroom, you would give it the Edpuzzle link. There's a direct link to your class and video in Edpuzzle.
So I guess now that you say that, I've got 4 or 5 different Edpuzzle classes. So the link I put in there would only be specific to one of those classes.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I just say, go to Edpuzzle, find this video, and then it will grade it for them?
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Can I just give I don't know what grade level you teach. I don't know who was just asking that about Edpuzzle.
That was Kathy.
Okay, I teach high school math, and and I know this is unique, I put all of my geometry kids in one Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me. I know that doesn't work for everybody else, but that might be a way as well to have the same link that you can assign, I guess. So
okay, I appreciate that. I think our district is more controlling than that, but I appreciate that that feedback. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I have a lot of autonomy, so I know that so.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, we're 5 minutes past time. I so appreciate to have the majority of you stayed with us for so long, and it really shows for your engagement. I really appreciate that, and especially our amazing host, Erin. So if anybody has a few last questions, otherwise we would close out for today. So please, feel free to ask now, or if not, we will send you all the recording. We will send, the notes even. Let's see, Anne-Marie is asking, when you can, could you please send how to import from Google Drive? Yes, so yeah, I will share a quick tutorial and a Google spreadsheet template that helps you to create all your units on a spreadsheet and then import it into Wavio. So that's a quick hack that you guys could use to help you out. Yeah, any other questions or things you want to bring up before we close off? All right. Well, thank you all so much. I'm going to put in the chat my contact information, so just bear with me one more second.
I'll also point out that when you're on the website, on the Wavio website, down in the lower right corner, there's a little chat icon, and that pings Donna. If you have a question that you need answered, like, I don't know what to do right now, go ahead and click that chat button. She's often online, but if she's not, she'll get right back to you, like within a few hours, if not a day. She's really great about responding to those questions. And I think I clicked the wrong button. What do I do? Kind of fixes. So she's great about getting responses. And we've been uploading help videos. I've been recording some videos for her of how to do specific things. So if you got to the spot and you're like, I forget what that was, check out the help videos, ask for some help from the chat.
Yeah. Erin's videos up. Some of them are already online, actually. We are sharing them.
I got a fortune in my fortune cookie the other day that said something about like a new opportunity coming your way, like a new entrepreneurial thing. I'm like, ooh, I know what that is.
So yeah, and we have a YouTube channel, and you can find those amazing videos over there. We are opening office hours. This will be coming out in the newsletter tomorrow. Somebody also asked about tutorials for students. So these will also be sent on tomorrow's newsletter. So yeah, please be sure to read those. I try to send them out every couple weeks. And it's mostly just stuff to help you guys. Sometimes I share about my life, but anyways, so this is all for today. Please fill out the survey. It really helps us to improve, and you might even get some stickers from us. And then, yeah, my email is there. There is a link to a Google Meet to basically just schedule a meeting with me anytime that you'd like. And there's also a link to our website if you want to check out more things. Yeah, and so with that, thank you so much, and huge thank you to you, Erin, for leading this. You're such an incredible teacher and webinar leaders. I'm very fortunate to have you guide everyone here today. So, and thank you all for staying so long. So appreciate you. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Hi, everybody. All right. So thank you very much. And we'll be closing off for now. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. How do I close? I don't know how to close it for everybody. We'll just see.
I think you just hit the hang up button in the bottom.
That's it. And are you sure? I think it's just disconnecting me, honestly. So, okay. All right. So bye.
All right. Bye. And then I'm going to close it out.